Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw. Okay, so it's an Asian elephant.
Yep.
It's really close portrait. And you know what you're doing because the eye is super sharp in focus. It's photographed with what looks like a DSLR. I mean, what kind of camera are you using?
That was iPhone.
iPhone, no way. It's like the focus is exactly where it needs to be. So in the image, so it's essentially all you see is the top of the forehead of an Asian elephant, and how the Asian elephant's the skin goes black and it dimples into this kind of orangey cream. You see the wrinkles around the eyes, the socket, I guess, the bone structure holding on. It almost looks wet. It almost looks post washing. If you've been to a place to wash the elephants, I think this is the second Asian elephant in the Shooting It Raw gallery.
Okay.
So, yeah. So really powerful. So why this image and what?
So yeah, my fiance, soon to be wife, went to Koh Samui about 2 years ago, and we were there for a friend's wedding, which it's a different story, but we both got food poisoning the night before, so we didn't actually make it to the wedding.
No.
But we went all the way to Koh Samui. But the day before the wedding and before the nasty incident.
And that's when you knew that you wanted to marry this woman.
Absolutely. The outdoor single bathroom shared between two hot summer Thailand. It was romantic.
It's where hearts are made and broken. Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So look, we had been looking up what to do on Koh Samui. I'd been there previously for a very short duration. My fiance hadn't. We both love animals, and so we thought, why don't we go see some elephants? And previously I knew about wildlife tourism, but I didn't know about why it was bad and the sort of evil behind these tourist traps. So this place is, I think it's called Koh Samui Elephant Sanctuary. Mm-hmm. So their philosophy is to rehabilitate and rescue elephants that have been in, elephant riding, amusement parks, logging, things like that. They buy the elephants off the people and they rehome them in these sanctuaries so they can live a fruitful and sort of a normal life, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So we went along, and it was incredible because we'd never seen elephants before. Both of us are from New Zealand. I mean, we have sheep, we have cows. That's really about it. So seeing these incredible animals was quite astonishing. And their philosophy is you can go around with a trainer and they will introduce you to the different elephants there, and you can feed them bananas. I think you can very gently touch them, but you shouldn't, of course, too much. And it was just incredible. And to me, why I took this photo in particular was, to me, looking at that elephant and the eye of that elephant particularly, it looked like it had seen some shit. Yeah. It had been through a lot in its life. Yeah. And to me, it felt pain. Okay. And I felt pain behind those eyes. A lifetime of slavery, essentially. Yeah. And I just wanted to capture that. And I wanted to remember that wild animals are here with us. Mm-hmm. And although a lot of them are exploited, a lot of them are used in wildlife trade and things like that, there are really good sanctuaries and organizations that do try and save and protect these animals. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's a picture that invokes different emotions. You can look at it and think, wow, it's really sad. You can see the pain behind those eyes. But then, is it also hopeful? I mean, it's in a better place. Do you feel like it's going to live a fuller life because it is where it is now? So to me, it's a powerful image. And yeah, for sure. I mean, as a viewer who doesn't know the backstory, elephants are, when you've been around them and you've seen them and you interacted with them, I can see what you mean to have this large animal look at you. Yeah. And be really
as human animals, we really look at each other's eyes for cues and everything. And I don't know. It's a very powerful image that definitely evokes a lot of emotion. And as you're telling the story, I can see it in your face as well. So I'm just like, okay, well, here's a man who's really, who really cares. Right. And I can, so in my day job, okay, right now we're in your office. Thank you very much.
No. My pleasure.
Looking out the window, I can see just some towers and a bit of the Hong Kong hillside in the back. I understand this is a newly decorated office. It's very efficient, very nice. It's really cold with the aircon, but that's because I'm a wimp. And so in my day job, we talk about service leadership, right? So a firm like this is a service. In a way, you don't make anything. You're essentially transacting ideas, right? But it's that's what service is. Service is connection between people. And right now, you and I are kind of exchanging and connecting. And what we say is what really shapes the color or the quality of your service is who you are, right? So your character, your competence, for example, whether or not you can do what people hire you to do, but your character and care, right? So care is a big part of service. And, I've done my MBA, and I know that in MBA schools, they don't talk about character or care. And I love the fact that I'm here. This is full on. This is Admiralty in Hong Kong. It doesn't get more corporate than this.
Of course.
And this is a nice corporate space. And what are we doing? We're talking about elephants and caring about elephants. It's fuzzy and touching,
Yeah. And I think that's sort of who I am as a person in both professional and my personal life. I mean, I'm all about animals, and and you'll see the photos that I sent through are all animal centric. Yeah. And I'm a barrister by trade. I do criminal law, I do civil law, I do public law, but it's animal law that I love. And it's a really niche area of the law because it's not really a set of rules or standards. You're pulling from different facets of the law. You're doing, different rules and different principles, and using that to, in a way, promote or advocate for animals. And that's what I want to do. I've had a lot of people ask me, Kim, why are you doing this? I mean, does it make money? And the answer is no, it doesn't make money, but I love it. And I want to do more of it. Wow. So how this all came about was, COVID. Yeah. COVID-19. This was a silver lining.
Is that still happening?
I think it's COVID 20 XXX now.
Yeah, I was kidding.
So with COVID, we had the suspension of the courts and things like that. So I was sitting there going, wow, what should I do with my life? I love my job. I love advocating. I love standing up in court and speaking on behalf of my clients. I love arguing. I'm not very good at it, especially not against my fiance. But I like it. So with the closure of courts, I was sort of in this limbo. I was thinking, what on earth should I do? So I drew upon, what is it that I like? What do I love in this life? And you have to love your job. So I love what I do, but I also love animals. So I thought, I'll just put them together and see where that goes. And so far, so good.
By Echo, I was introduced to you through Andrea, right?
Yeah.
And Andrea's with the Hong Kong Shark Foundation. And during the financial crisis of 2008, 2009, it was kind of like the COVID where my revenue went down 90%. And so I was like, okay, well, I've got this time. What am I going to do? And so I started Shark Rescue. Yeah. So I understand that, okay, COVID happens and you're sitting there going, okay, well, what do I care about? So what is, you came from New Zealand. Where in New Zealand?
I'm from Christchurch.
Okay.
Christchurch.
Never been.
It's a beautiful place in the world. It's small, it's quaint. It's very far away from anything.
I've been to New Zealand. Yeah. And my main impression when I left there was, why would anybody leave here? It's amazing. And I understand the work and the same thing why I left Montreal. What about growing up in Christchurch made you so connected to animals?
I think we've always, as a family, had pets as we grew up. So my father loved animals.
Okay.
My mother, she's Hong Kong Chinese. He's a New Zealand Kiwi. So she was very sort of apprehensive, I don't want animals because things will get dirty and then I'll have to clean. Whereas my father was quite the opposite. All living creatures come inside.
Nice.
So I grew up with animals, and as we got older, we moved to different places, and we moved to a farm. So the place we have in Christchurch, it's a farm.
Wow.
But it's not your sort of 1,000-acre farm. It's a small.
Like a hobby farm.
It's a hobby farm. We have one sheep.
Okay.
One.
Is it? Okay, one sheep, yeah.
We have.
Like, isn't that technically a ship?
Yeah, I've never actually. I think it's a shap. Yeah,
I don't know.
It's our neighbours have a sheep farm, and this sheep didn't want to be part of this.
Just screw you. I'm going next door.
Yeah, it's like, well, grass is always greener. I'm going, and
Nice.
yeah. So we have one sheep.
Cool.
We have peacocks.
Nice.
They're beautiful.
Super loud and annoying.
Super loud and annoying.
Yeah.
Make a mess.
Yeah.
And we have, we've had cats, we've had dogs, we've had rabbits. So it's just growing up with animals. And I guess that's just translated from being young to where I am now. And it's just instilled in me. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's move on to the next image because I know what's coming up. So is life really a gift? Really? Can you make every second count? That's the whole point of the podcast. So if you like what you've seen and you're inspired, because that really is my mission, then please give it a like, subscribe, and share.
Shooting it raw?
Yes. Shooting it raw.